Welcome to my next From Season 2 episode review video. Before I get into that, though, pretty important, if you're not caught up to the point where I am and rewatching or watching from, or you're just entirely sure, then you definitely need to take the initiative and pay attention to the episode's title, which of course I'll mention as well as put in the description. If that happens to be the case, you find that you're not caught up, it would be my recommendation that you don't watch this video any further to avoid any potential spoilers. And I've already seen both seasons thus far, from just reviewing all the episodes to have it in on the channel before season 3 of From comes out, which is right around the corner on Sunday, September 22nd. I don't know what time those episodes will be available, the first episode. If it's earlier in the morning, like, midnight or 2 a.m. in the morning, it'll be up faster on the channel. If it's more like 8 p.m. that day, it'll take me longer to get done, and it might take until midnight the following day. So we shall see, but I'm obviously going to be covering it on the channel, and I like the show. Do I think it's amazing? No, but I think it has a lot of potential. I'm a little worried, though, that the ending will be a little bit lackluster, or we won't get the answers that we wanted, or we won't get the reveals that we wanted for the show. But with all that said, this will be From Season 2, Episode 8. The title of this episode is called Forest for the Trees. And this will be my review, reaction, recap after just finishing watching the episode. So we start with Kenny. He finds his mother in the kitchen cooking and asks where the Matthews are. She says they are still asleep and tells him that she is cooking his favorite dish. The phone in the kitchen begins to ring and Tien Chen tells him to answer it. Kenny picks up the phone and a voice says, "They touch, they break, they steal. No one here is free. Here they come for three. Unless you stop the melody." Kenny is shocked and the voice does not answer his questions. Kenny then hears a noise coming from the pot, but Tien Chen tells him it's not ready yet. When he looks inside, it is filled with cicadas. The music stops, or the music box then appears and begins playing. One cicada jumps out of the pot and lands on Kenny's arm. Kenny swats at it and his mother begins shaking him, and he wakes up in his bed to Tien Chen, shaking him awake, informing him that he was screaming. Kenny says he had a bad dream but is okay. However, he notices a burn on his arm in the spot where the cicada landed in his dream. Interesting. Jim and Randall prepare the drone to fly the antenna over the trees. Randall asks Jim what the point of this place is, if it's just one big experiment. Jim believes that there is a lot of value in seeing how far people can be pushed before they break, as with Sarah. Randall tells Jim that he has more restraint than him. Jim replies that he refuses to let the town turn him into something that he isn't. Once the antenna is ready, Randall tries to fly the drone over the trees, but it cannot fly very high, carrying the antenna. Randall then asks, even if they can get the radio to work, why would people on the other side want to talk to them? Jim points out that they've done it once, but Randall asks if they are trying to help or mess with his head. Jim tells him if he doesn't want to help, he can leave. Randall says he still wants to help, but thinks that they should look at the people in the town with them who might be in on it. That's an interesting point. Somebody might be in on this. Jim worries about throwing around accusations, but Randall says they aren't accusing anyone and asks who explained all the rules when the Matthews family arrived, and Jim tells him Boyd, Donna, and Father Khatri, explaining that the latter was killed the night the creatures broke into the colony house. And then Randall asks if he saw Khatri die, and Jim says no, and Randall continues to ask if he's seen any of the people killed since he arrived actually die, and Randall theorizes that the people who are dying are actually in on it, are being killed in order to frighten everyone. Jim asks about Brick, but Randall says he only saw the body the next day. And then Jim points out Nathan, who Sarah accidentally killed. And Randall is still skeptical and continues to theorize that it was either an inside job or Sarah was actually pushed to the limit. Sarah approaches Boyd in his office and says she wants to go back into the woods and continue to search for the answers. Boyd does not think it's wise, and Sarah understands that he is needed in the town, but she wants to help. At Boyd's pressing, Sarah reveals that she feels like an outcast in the town, but is going out into the forest is something helpful that she can do. Boyd says there is a difference between searching for answers and running away. Sarah says she can't sit and do nothing in the church anymore, and Boyd offers to find a solution. Tabitha takes Jade to the mouth of the caves and says it's where she first saw the children and the symbol as well as the sleeping creatures. Jade believes that it can't be a coincidence and references chaos theory to explain how two seemingly unrelated events can be intricately connected. Jade says that they need to find out more to figure out the connection. But Tabitha refuses to re-enter the caves. Jade then asks if Victor saw the symbol, and Tabitha answers that he pointed it out to her. Jade is furious that Victor withheld that information from him and points out that all the crazy things they have seen are connected to Victor, which is true. Victor arrives at the Lewis house and is greeted by Julie. Victor asks for Ethan, whom Julie summons. Julie then thanks Victor for saving her life during the Colony House attack. She invites Victor in, but he wouldn't come in. I think that's a little interesting. Something that may not be anything, but the fact that he wouldn't come in the house kind of wonders what's going on with that. Anyway, Ethan arrives, and Victor reveals that he has a gift for Ethan. Victor gives Ethan his coat from when he was a child because it's getting cold. Ethan gives him a drawing, but Victor refuses it because pictures are for things that are gone. Ethan asks what if something happens to him, and Victor scolds him for talking like that. Ethan says if Victor does not take the drawing, he will refuse the coat, and Victor decides to take it. And then Julie then returns, and Ethan invites Victor to join them in helping Mrs. Liu at dinner, which he does do. I'm just surprised he didn't come in to begin with. Maybe it's nothing. Boyd checks in on his son to make sure he is recovering from his stab wound. Ellis assures him that he is healing well. Dale is locked in a room and all is well. Boyd notices that Ellis is smiling, and Ellis explains that he has some news. Donna arrives asking for Boyd, and then Ellis promises to tell him later. Boyd asks Donna if she can give Sarah something to do at the house, and Donna is initially resistant but decides to do so. However, Donna says they have bigger problems. The people in the Colony House are on their last nerve. Dale is still in prison, and Elgin almost drowned in his sleep. Boyd goes to check in on Elgin, who finds crocheting, or who he finds crocheting. Elgin explains that in his dream he was in the bathtub, but someone pushed him underwater. When someone shook him awake, he started spitting up water. Elgin asks how that is possible, and Boyd asks if Elgin told anyone about what happened at the clinic. Elgin answers he hasn't, and Boyd says that they have pulled something out of Smiles that they think that can be used as a poison. Elgin suggests dipping his bullets in the yellow stuff. Ethan and Julie try to convince Victor of the internet's existence, and Julie points out to Ethan that his new jacket smells musty. Ethan then finds a toy in the pocket and gives it to Victor. Shocking him, Victor then flashes back to when he was a child and his mother gave him the toy. Jade and Tabitha arrive in search of Victor, but he tries to leave. Jade grabs Victor, prompting Julie to order him to leave Victor alone. Jade reminds Victor that in exchange for playing the song, he was supposed to tell Jade about the symbol. Victor says he did, but Jade points out that he neglected to mention its presence in the caves. Tabitha tries to calmly ask Victor for answers, and she and Jade follow him as he leaves. Jade grabs Victor again and orders him to tell him everything he knows because it might be how they go home, asking if he would like that. Victor defiantly replies that this place is his home and walks away. Tabitha berates Jade for behaving poorly and runs after Victor. Jim and Randall go to the church where they find Sarah and ask how they can talk to her, or ask if they can talk to her. Jim asks how she arrived in town, and Sarah says she and Nathan were heading back to Boston. Randall asks where they were heading from, and Jim explains that they are trying to determine a pattern in how people arrive in the town. Sarah answers that she had never been living in New Hope, Pennsylvania, but Nathan was helping her move back. Then they ask about the day Nathan died, and Sarah refuses to talk about it. Jim tries to sympathize with her, but Randall bluntly asks if Nathan is still alive. Donna then arrives, which Randall declares convenient. Donna asks Sarah if she can stitch up some clothes from the Colony House. Randall asks Donna if she thinks she's a big shot and calls her a toll booth operator. Jim drags Randall out, and Donna asks Sarah if she's okay. Sarah asks why they asked about Nathan and think he is alive. Jim asks Randall what happened, and Randall says he is trying to get some answers, but not everyone's not be everyone's friend. Jim says they cannot assume every little thing, but should instead watch and observe at night in the RV. Jim heads to the diner where he greets his children and asks where Tabitha is. Julie explains that she and Jade came in looking for Victor and Jade yelled at him, so Tabitha is likely trying to check on him. Jim pulls Julie aside and tells her that he is planning to spend the night in the RV with a talisman and to tell Tabitha that he is alright. Julie is concerned about the idea and tells him to be careful. Donna asks what is wrong with him having talked to Sarah. Donna realizes that this is about the voice on the radio, and Donna worries that he's put ideas in Randall's head, who she calls a powder keg. Jim says he didn't tell Randall about the voice and acknowledges talking to Sarah was stupid, but they just want to go home. They are observed talking by Randall from the perch atop the bus. Victor stares at the toy and flashes back to when his mother gave it to him. His mother leaves him in the root cellar and tells him to be brave and to stay inside until morning. She then runs upstairs and shuts the door behind her. Tabitha knocks on his door and thanks him for giving Ethan his coat. She then sees the toy and says that Ethan said it upset Victor when he found it. Victor explains that he had not seen it for a long time. Tabitha asks why he didn't tell Jade about the symbol in the tunnels, and Victor replies that people should not go looking for answers because they do not return. Tabitha argues that it's only way out, but Victor does not think there is a way out. Tabitha tries to persuade him, and Victor struggles to explain how his mother said they were going to going home, but something bad happened. Victor cannot fully remember what happened, but his pictures might, and these are kept somewhere safe. Boyd goes to check on Kenny and asks about the burn on his arm, and Kenny says it happened in his sleep. Boyd tells Kenny about Elgin's idea to dip the bullets in the bile to see if they kill the monsters. Boyd and Kenny head to the clinic where they find Christy tending to a worsening Marielle. They tell Boyd and Kenny that sounds were coming from the boiler room where Smiles' body is being kept. Boyd and Kenny go down to investigate, telling Christy and Marielle to run if things go bad. They carefully advance on the door and find hundreds of cicadas crawling all over Smiles' corpse. Kenny explains that in his dream, he heard the exact same buzzing and saw a pot full of them. Christy then recalls that Elgin dreamt about drowning and awoke spitting up water. Kenny adds that when the music box started playing, one jumped out and burnt his arm, and then Marielle is frightened by the idea that their dreams can now harm them as Donna arrives. Victor leads Tabitha to the car graveyard. He calls her nice and says he wants to help, but he is afraid to remember. Tabitha tells him to be brave, and Victor says that's what his mom told him. Boyd tells Donna about what happened with Smiles, and Donna is irate that he failed to tell her about this earlier. Boyd apologizes, and Donna asks about the bile, and Boyd says they are not certain, but it is worth trying. When he shows her the body, the cicadas are gone. Donna is shocked by the body, while Boyd is worried about the disappearance of the cicadas. Donna says they probably scattered, and then they need to burn the body. Boyd and Kenny cart the body away, and Donna tells them to burn the body far away so people don't get curious. As for the dreams, Boyd suggests they have people sleep in shifts. He says he'll have Sarah put up in the sheriff's office and tells Christy and Marielle to join her, warning Christy that he has seen withdrawal before and it's going to get worse. Christy refuses to be under the same roof as Sarah, but agrees to go to Colony House. Unbeknownst to them all, Randall has actually been observing them from a tree. Victor opens the trunk of his mother's car and finds his drawings. He flashes back to his final encounter with his mother as he sorts through them and begins panicking. He finds a drawing of him and a girl named Eloise and remembers Eloise being their mother, begging their mother not to leave them. Victor tearfully realizes that the pictures are not his, but his sister's. We have a flashback. Their mother instructs them to stay in the root cellar and draw their pictures. But when she returns, they will all go home. As their mother leaves, Eloise runs after her while Victor stays behind, where notices the toy. Victor stays in the root cellar all night, and then Victor in the present sobs as he remembers his sister, whom he had blocked all of memory of. That's crazy. Randall approaches Donna, telling her that he wants to apologize for his behavior and hope to talk to her. Donna is suspicious but agrees. Boyd and Kenny burn Smiles' body. Kenny remarks that he had gotten so used to being scared that it felt normal, but now that their dreams can harm them, he is even more frightened. Victor explains that his mother told him and his sister to hide and that he was supposed to protect Eloise. However, she ran and he failed to run after her because he was afraid. Tabitha tells him he was just a little kid, and Victor says that the next morning everyone was dead. Tabitha then notices a drawing of a lighthouse and asks what that is. Victor explains that Eloise said that's where their mother was going that night to save the children locked in the tower. After they finish up work, Tien Chen locks up the diner and compliments Julie and Ethan on their work. Boyd and Kenny arrive and greet them, but Kenny hears the sound of the cicadas. Reggie then comes running outside of his house covered in blood and crying out for help as the cicadas continue humming. Jim finds the van parked near the RV and calls out for Randall. Donna answers and Jim runs down the hill and finds that Randall has tied Donna to a tree at knife point, and Randall tells Jim that he has a new plan, and that's what ends this episode of From. So, the whole cicada thing, I don't really like. I'd rather see the monsters / creatures at night and not, things flying around. So I'm going to give the episode a 7.2 out of 10. My characters of the episode I'm going to give to Victor and, Donna, Tabitha. I don't know. I'll say Donna because Donna seems to be the most interesting character out of everybody. And if she's like a plant and being fake, that is going to be interesting. So you've heard everything that I have to say. Now it's your turn. If you're a fan of From and want to help me out with the YouTube algorithm, please consider Hulk smashing the like button, share the video with a friend, put this video on any one of your social media platforms. Don't forget to sound off in the comment section about what your thoughts are on this episode of From. What would you rate it, and whom would you choose as characters of the episode? And remember, I'll be covering From Season 3, so make sure you come back to the channel on September 22nd. I'm not exactly sure what time the episodes air, but I'll be covering it, all the episodes of From Season 3. And then last but certainly not least, don't forget to hit that sub button, subscribe to the channel, you're watching the video anyway, join the team, show your damn support, and be a part of something special, and you never know what you're going to see on JDev TV.